Welcome back. You see my previous video, obviously, for my long absence due to my back. Basically, I said that just going to do a short video, not too long, on a knife I've never used before, and company-wise, I've never used them before either, which is the cold steel. Okay, so for those bushcrafters, survivalists, looking for knives on a budget, this could be one for you. So primarily this channel is going to be for novices or people on budgets, and obviously people with mental health and things like that, which I won't go into because obviously I've done other videos on this channel about that. But this could be one for people that's looking to, say, if they want a big chopping blade or something like that, and they want something within budget maybe. So enter the cold steel. Now, in my previous video, I did say it's the first time I've ever used cold steel, and I've heard bad things, I've heard good things, mainly good, but like I said, I was a bit put off by it because obviously their steel, about 90% of their blades are actually made in Taiwan, whereas a lot of their blades before used to be pretty much all USA made. So I think they do the budget blades in Taiwan, and obviously their premium blades, obviously probably in-house in the USA. I'm not too sure. Quote me if I'm wrong, but that's the impression that I get. But it's not to say that the cheap blades are no good. So without further ado, okay, so I'm so glad it took me painkillers. This is it. This is the sheath it comes with, if you can see properly. Just go down the camera a little bit. Okay, so this is the sheath it comes with. It's called a secure X Sheath. I think it's like a plastic, kind of a plastic Kydex. I'm not a big fan of Kydex, so I don't know too much about the secure X sheaths, but it seems to be very, very well made. It retains the knife in beautifully. You got a retaining strap there that holds it in place. You've got a big belt loop, very big belt loop. You can actually put this on without taking your belt off as well, because it's got a snap underneath and Velcro, but I prefer just to slip my belt in. So this is the Secure X or Secure X plastic sheath that it comes in. As long as you know what you're doing, you can use one hand to draw. Just push your thumb down and it clicks out, and then withdraw the blade. Oh dear, I hate bending down. Don't know if you could see me. I'm still out of focus. Oh dear. Okay, so this is it. So this is the cold steel Survivalist. We're gonna have to keep going up and down, up and down, up and down. This is the man who has got a bad back. Okay, so cold steel Survivalist Bowie. Okay, it's cold steel Survivalist Bowie, or combat knife, whatever you want to call it. Cold steel, made in Taiwan. Now this version of it, this is actually a Mark II, which I didn't actually realise that, because I don't know much about cold steel. They do a Mark I version. Now the difference between this and the Mark I version is that the handle scales was hollow. And I think the paint was slightly different as well. It had like a gold kind of paint on it. So there was a lot of complaints about that, because obviously comfort wise, it wasn't very good, because obviously you had to cut out here, you put your hand here, and obviously your hand would disappear into the groove, into the handle, making it very uncomfortable. So what a lot of people's done, I'll speak properly today, is they paracord wrap the handle. And they do a smaller version of this as well. I think it's about 4 inches long. It's like a scout knife. It's like, I think it was called a Drop Forge Hunter or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. And that was the same. It had the same hollowed out handle. But this is the Mark II version, and this has some really tough plastic that's held together with some heavy duty bolts. Now a lot of people say it's G10 or McCarter. It's not. I mean, I've had these scales off to see if I can find out what it is, and it's some kind of heavy duty plastic. It's not G10 and it's certainly not McCarter, but it is some sort of heavy duty plastic. Probably will show you at some point what it looks like with the scales, with the slab scales off. First impressions, yeah, it looks very well built knife. I would prefer if the scales was probably a lot bigger in the handle area, and probably around the tang more. Don't like the protective grey coating that they've put on it. I know from experience from similar knives that I've used that coating never lasts anyway. It always comes off in the end, unless you've got some of the extremely hard bluing what folk can even do on their knives. But yeah, this is just to protect the steel. I think if I was to keep this, I'd probably take all the paint off the blade, and I'll show you, well, I'll tell you some of the other modifications that I'd probably do to it as well in the future. But this is stock. I've not touched the blade up at all. I've not done anything with it at all. Obviously I've had a little bit of a play with it, but nothing major, and so it's still looking obviously brand new. It's made from 52-100 carbon steel, which has similar properties to 5160. It's old school steel, very tough steel, cheap steel, but it is really tough steel. This is drop forged, so basically they have a mold, then the hammer comes down and presses the steel into the mold, and then it's made that way. So the entire knife is one piece of steel apart from the handle slabs, handle scales. Okay, so there's nothing to go wrong apart from the slabs. So it is full tang obviously, because it's one piece of drop forged steel. So you can probably hammer on this pommel. You can hammer probably anywhere on this knife, and I very much doubt it would break unless you're doing something stupid with it. And the guard, obviously, that's one piece of steel as well, so you've got absolutely no chance of that guard ever coming loose, because it's integrated into the handle. In fact, it's integrated into the whole knife, so you've got no problems there either with the guard ever coming loose. I think it's roughly maybe seven. I haven't got the specs. I should have bought the specs with me, but I think it's maybe about 7 inches. I'm not too sure blade, so it is a large blade. Weight wise, it's not too bad for what it is. Obviously it comes with a 6mm stock, that's tapered all the way to the tip portion to about 2mm. So here's about 2mm, and then it fattens at the widest point where you need it the most to roughly about 6mm, so it's quite thick stock. Another first thing I noticed is the tip. Again, it's a good job I took my painkillers today. So if you look at that tip, So I'm getting to focus. So again, it tapers to about 2mm. So if you're stabbing anything and you fancy to do any prying, I think eventually that's probably the weakest part of this knife on first impressions. So that tip, to me, is probably the weakest part that I see. It probably will hold up as long as you're not doing anything stupid like stabbing things and then prying it. So obviously if you do stab it into a log or something like that, maybe to make some shavings, some feather sticks or something like that, do not pry it with it like that. Just get it out of the log or whatever you've knocked it into, like this, okay, not that way. But apart from that, it's probably the only weakness that I can see. Obviously the coating definitely will come off during the course of time. I know that for a fact, so that's probably one of the mods that I'll do. I'll probably take the coating off. But yeah, just a quick look. So these are the plastic, heavy duty plastic slabs sandwiched in between the steel. All full tang, all one piece of steel. There's no welds to worry about. Okay, cold steel made in Taiwan. And there it says 52100 steel, carbon steel, which again is a tough working steel. Cheap steel, but it does the job. Okay, so Bowie style, drop point style. It has got a lanyard loop hole there to put a loop in it if need be when you're chopping. As I said in previous video, I'm not going to be doing any chopping today because down to my back. I don't want to be doing any bending down and doing any chopping with it, but I will try to do some chopping with it on my next video and show you its capabilities. Grind wise, it is a full flat grind with a secondary bevel, secondary V edge. You can just see it on the camera. You can just see it shining. So you've got a V edge. I have opinions on V edges. I don't like V edges. I tend to take them off personally, either convex them or just modify them just to take it off. I probably will end up taking this off, I think. But it's not bad. It's not bad. It's very well done. I have heard cold steel in the past. I've made something from people actually made a lot of YouTube videos. Is that the grinds, the uneven grinds, plunge lines, which is here at the top, is uneven, and to me, this is absolutely spot on. The grind is spot on, apart from obviously the V edge, which I don't like, but it's all straight. It's not bent anywhere. The grinds are 100% straight on both sides, as far as I can see. Plunge line correct. So yeah, again, it's full flat grind with a V bevel with V edge. How it's going to perform in chopping, I have no idea. It's at a later date. I will probably do some chopping with it when my back's a little bit better. So some heavy duty chopping with it just to see if that 52100 steel, which I think it will do, hold up. So yeah, handle. It's actually first impression that is the handle is surprisingly comfy. Surprisingly comfy. It does grip. There's a very strong grip there. So if your hands are wet, not really any chance of slipping out, I don't think. Now I never wear gloves apart from when it's really cold in winter. So for me, the handle geometry has got to be perfect for me. It's got to be grippy and it's got to be comfortable, because obviously I use knives quite a lot. I can use it all day, so it's got to be comfortable. The first impressions, yeah, it is rounded. I'm glad that they rounded the handle, and obviously the guard is rounded there, because if they didn't, it would be really uncomfortable. But I'm so glad that they rounded these edges off and the tail off there. So grip wise, at the minute, yeah, it's not too bad. I have like pork chop fingers anyway. I'd probably say have normal size hands. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what big hands and normal size hands are these days. I'm not too sure. But it is comfortable for my hand. It does fit my hand absolutely spot on. Carving tasks, you've still got about an inch on the butt end, so you've still got plenty of room for there, especially when you're chopping. So I do like that edge geometry at the minute. So yeah, I think the Mark 1 version, where it didn't have the handle scales, handle slabs, sorry, I think I wouldn't get on with that. I'd have to probably paracord it or put some rubber tubing on it or some Ranger bands or something like that. But this one, this Mark 2 version, it's not too bad. Pretty good. So what I'm going to do is probably leave the video there. I'm trying to get my videos down to like 20 minutes. It helps with uploading. And then second video, I'm going to do some light carving with it, see how that edge holds up, and but so far, yeah, it looks like a very, very robust knife. Weight wise, I think the balance is just probably there, just there. Yeah, it's probably where the guard is. So for me, that could be an issue with chopping, because for me, a good chopper always needs to be top heavy, not heavy in the handle. But we'll see at a later stage, obviously not today. We'll see how it performs in chopping. But as far as blades go, this is actually relatively lightweight. To say it's one piece of drop forward steel, thick steel. So yeah, we'll see how it performs in some basic carving tests, camp chores. So no chopping, no batoning today. I don't really want to be spending too long crouching down with my back today, but yeah, we'll do some basic carving anyway, and we'll see how it holds up. So I'm going to leave it there, and where's my little stick? Still not lost it yet, I've still got it. Oh, how to retain it. Oh dear. Right, so remember knife safety. Always look where you're putting your knife. Okay, the opening is there. Okay, so the knife goes in the sheath like this. Absolutely beautiful, absolutely perfect. And then push it down. If you hear that click, it's absolutely perfect, this sheath, for this knife. So you've got your retaining snap there, and just let it dangle off your side. But yeah, the sheath is quite decent. It's really decent actually. I don't like Kydex sheath or plastic sheaths, but as far as it goes, this is quite decent. And obviously you've got some lashing points as well. You can lash it to your pack, lash it to your side. You can have it scout style probably, pretty much anything you want. So that's a good touch, and it holds it beautifully. Really, really good. It's a pity it's not leather, because I've got a soft spot for leather, but, but as far as knife sheaths goes, I really like this. It's really, really good. Anyway, so it's coming up to about 20 minutes now, so I'm going to leave it there, and so we can go into part 2. Okay, so bye bye for now.